Whatever else has gone on this year, and goodness me, it feels like there's been a lot, 2018 has been pretty great for new video games. We've been graced with Monster Hunter World, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Red Dead Redemption 2, Vermintide 2, Overcooked 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and a Shenmue re-release, for crying out loud. So it should come as no surprise to anyone that I found it very difficult to pick just one game as my favourite from the last 12 months. After some soul searching and a script I abandoned about 2,000 words in, I realised that while I loved walloping giant creatures in Monster Hunter World, and while playing Red Dead Redemption 2 felt like coming home to an old friend, my heart truly belongs to the Sea of Thieves, specifically. From the moment I first tried Sea of Thieves during the beta, whatever, I knew it was for me. I'm a sucker for nautical games and a good old-fashioned sea shanty, but what really drew me in was how tactile everything was. It made me realise that while I loved Assassin's Creed Black Flag, the sailing was actually fairly limited in its execution. With Kenway standing at the helm, barking orders to others, you're effectively driving a video game car or operating a video game tank. You're in charge of all the bits at once. Sea of Thieves, meanwhile, has the guts to say, listen, if you want to raise the anchor, you're going to have to walk over to the capstan and put your back into it. If you want to get the most out of the sails, you're going to have to go trim them yourself. And you can forget the idea of a mini-map. The map lives on the map table, and ever shall it be thus. I can't think of any other game with so many different tasks, all dedicated to just getting a vehicle to move in the first place. Sailing from point A to point B efficiently requires a lot of scuttling about on deck, ideally plenty of communication, and a lot of interaction with individual systems that add up to a greater whole. It's about as analog as a digital ship can get without requiring actual training in how to sail. And the best bit about that is that while it's fun to jump from station to station and be part of a well-oiled machine, the mechanics of getting about in Sea of Thieves can be comically inelegant, which is genuinely pretty funny. There's a small group of friends I tend to crew with, and all in all, we're pretty experienced at sailing in Sea of Thieves, whether it's a galleon, a brigantine, or a humble sloop. Every once in a while, though, something will go wrong. Whether it's the helmsman going to look at the map without telling anybody because they're all busy, only to let the ship run into a rock, or the anchor being dropped too late, causing us to run into a rock. A small-scale disaster is never that far away when your concentration lapses.
It's alright.
This, Johnny. I'll use my new bucket, shall we?
And those mishaps can be frustrating or nerve-wracking when there's a lot of loot at stake or the hull is particularly badly damaged, sure, but they're also pretty funny. And each one helps inject a little bit of story into proceedings. I'll come back to this in a bit, but playing Sea of Thieves is about stringing together lots of little moments into a proper journey, one you can feel proud to have been a part of, and running aground by mistake is absolutely a part of that. What's more, there just aren't very many video games that have emergent experiences like that offered up just because of the way the main vehicle works. It's really impressive. It also helps that the whole thing sounds amazing. Sea of Thieves has some fantastic audio design. The way the boards creak, the canvas snaps, and the ropes get stretched to their limit, all of these things really help make the ship come alive. The same is true when exploring the islands. The echo of a cave or a bit of contextual music adds a tremendous amount of atmosphere. But the audio in Sea of Thieves isn't just a handy way to make things feel more real, it's also a steady stream of information you can use to your advantage. The waves sound different depending on how fast you go, for instance, so you can even tell from below decks whether the sails are catching a good amount of wind or whether they could do with trimming. Similarly, if a hole appears in the ship's hull and you aren't below decks to see it, there's little cause to worry. You'll almost certainly hear the pop of the board and the gurgle of water as it rushes into the hold. The sounds of Sea of Thieves do more heavy lifting in terms of atmosphere than any other game I've played this year, and sometimes it's a delight to just stop and listen for a second. especially if somebody's playing the hurdy-gurdy. So, Sea of Thieves is really tactile, it sounds fantastic, and it's got some great systems for getting about, but let's get down to brass tacks. Really, Sea of Thieves is about pissing about with your friends, and that is why it is great. When it first launched, a lot of people criticised it for being shallow, and with only 3 quest types, I can see where that frustration came from. But the thing is, as I said earlier, with the little moments combining to create a unique feeling voyage, all those little systems working in tandem in Sea of Thieves carry with them a really high potential for the unexpected, and the utterly daft. Trying to fire yourself onto an enemy ship with a cannon just for the hell of it is great fun. You can show people the items you're holding, even when it's annoying. No, especially when it's annoying.
Eat this banana. Eat this banana. Eat this banana now.
We're going here. We're going here.
And deliberately getting your pirate hammered just to be sick on other crewmates. There are just so many touches of the ridiculous in this game that it's really easy to create those moments when everyone is laughing at nothing in particular. I was playing with friends recently and we realised if everybody hammers the key to dock and undock the rowing boat at the same time, it goes bonkers. No real point to it, but I laughed until I actually felt a little bit sick.
Oh no.
Wait.
And that, to me, is the essence of Sea of Thieves. Mucking around in a lovely world while chipping away at a voyage and just waiting to see what happens. And it's not just the silly moments either. Sea of Thieves can produce some brilliant moments of drama. Having a ship full of treasure is a great feeling, but it's also vaguely terrifying. Because if another crew decides to take what's yours, you could lose the lot. Or they might decide to team up with you using the game's alliance system, so they reap the rewards as well. My crew got attacked by the Kraken recently, and another ship doubled back to try and help us out, which was a great feeling, even though we both ended up sinking. In another session, the Kraken put loads of holes in the hull, and I wasn't able to fix them at first because we had simply too much treasure. So I was shrieking and laughing and desperately trying to move these chests out of the way so I could save the ship. These little moments of drama are brilliant, and again, they all add up to make a voyage that's really bloody eventful, even if on paper all you've done is go to a place, dig up some booty, and take it back to port. Obviously by now it should be pretty clear that I love Sea of Thieves and that I've loved it from the get-go, but it should also be pointed out that this is a game that's continued to evolve in the months since it launched. A regular release schedule of timed events has seen the introduction of a new ship, cursed cannonballs, the rowing boat, a new musical instrument, new cosmetics, challenges, an entirely new region, and new AI threats like the Megalodon and skeleton ships, and a good deal more besides. The simple improvements like crew management and ship alliances have helped refine the core experience too, making Sea of Thieves feel like a more robust and vibrant experience than ever before. There's no denying Sea of Thieves' split opinion among the community when it came out, but as with a lot of games that evolve through small and regular updates, I think it's well worth another look. If everything now in the game had been present at launch, in fact, I think the reaction would have been completely different. But anyway, that's why Sea of Thieves is my game of the year. It's a beautiful, colourful game about the joy of discovery that has a rich vein of silliness at its very core. No other game has given me so many moments of excitement, laughter, or gut-wrenching tension over the last 12 months, and the fact I've been able to explore those moments with friends has made it all the better. Yes, the ship cosmetics are expensive, and no, I don't especially like the Merchants Alliance, but hearing the waves slap against the side of the hull as the canvas billows in the wind, and my friend John falls overboard because he's had a beer, is more than enough to make up for the small shortcomings. What about your game of the year though? Was it Sea of Thieves or something different? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already checked out Aoife and Ian's videos on their games of the year, make sure you do. If you have seen those already, we've got loads of other videos for you to watch. Some of them should be on screen now. Please do like, subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss anything else from Eurogamer, but most importantly, thank you very much for watching and have a lovely day.
Did you get anything for doing?
Well, we didn't kill it.